All right, Junkie Nation. Gorgeous Georgian goes delivering another MMA superstar your way. This time it's UFC light heavyweight Glover Teixeira coming off a huge win last month over Anthony Smith. Glover, welcome back to the show. How you doing?
I'm doing great, man. Thank you. Thanks for having me here.
You've now had about 3 weeks or so to relax and enjoy the win. First, tell me, how are you feeling? Are you healthy? And what kind of state of mind are you? Because this was a different type of fight. This was in the COVID-19 era. I think it was a real stressful situation for everybody. But you've had some time now. How are you feeling?
I'm feeling great, man. The fight was amazing. It's still there.
I'm here.
Oh, okay, I can see you fully. I feel great. The fight was amazing. Recovering great. I'm already back in training, full force, and I'm just waiting now. Enjoy this time. Get ready to open up the gym and enjoy life, man.
A lot of fighters are already being rebooked and fighting again, like Hannah Siffers, Charles Rosa. How about you? If they came to you, do you feel like you would fight again soon as well?
Yeah, I mean, they call me, and I'm enjoying the victory right now. I haven't talked to my manager yet. I mean, we talk, but not about this fight. And we just we have some things on mind, but we're waiting for the call, man. Waiting for the call when they wanted me to fight, and we'll be ready.
Glover, that was an amazing comeback. It was really, really a good fight for both of you. Early on, Anthony Smith was doing very, very well. He had a lot of speed. Everything, that he was throwing was with full force. And, of course, you weathered the storm for a couple rounds. But it's interesting when you think about it. They disclosed your pay in Florida. You took home $280,000, $115 to show, $115 to win, and a $50,000 performance bonus. But early in the fight, you were only going to take 115, man. You dug deep and turned it around. Like, talk to us about that. Did you even have any self-doubt, because of the damage you were taking, his speed, or did you know that it was just a matter of time before the script was flipped?
The fight is just like you go in there, moving the head and find the distance, find the rhythm of the fight. Yes, in the beginning, I thought I never think about like oh, this is going down here. I just think like I gotta find the distance. I gotta figure out the distance to fight and close my distance and get in a close range and beat these guys. I just think about like how can I improve and how can I beat the guy. Uh, and I know like I knew in the first round that I lost that first round, but I wasn't nothing connecting hard. I was able to like observe the punches and roll with the punches and block most of it, and just waiting for the time to land that shot and close to that distance. And I knew them as the rounds go on, the fight go on, it was gonna be better for me.
Tell me about who you work with for your strength and conditioning, because obviously you looked really, really good all 25 minutes. You were able to take a lot of damage. You're 40 years old now, but you were out there fighting like a 32-year-old, a 30-year-old. You really look good.
Yeah, thank you, man. I do the strength conditioning from the P. I always do my strength and condition by myself. My own thing. From the John Hackerman CrossFit. And I incorporate some things and I train with a different guy. You kind of like see what's good for you, what's bad for you. But right now I'm following this program from the PI in Vegas. They send me all the program and I go over there. I do all these tests, strength tests, conditioning tests, uh, cardio, all this stuff. So and they prepare all this workout for me, and it's a big help because just to follow a program and not overdo it, because I think that was one of my biggest problems is to overdo it, to overtrain. I'm always do more than is necessary. Um, but Yeah, I've been doing the strength condition from the people in Vegas, from those guys in Vegas there. Kyle Amari is the guy that sent me all the my workout.
Have you had a chance to watch the fight? And if so, or how were you able to enjoy it? What were you looking for? And, how many times have you seen it? I mean, like I said, it was really, really just an interesting fight all the way around. Two great light heavyweights going at it.
Yeah, I saw the fight only once, man. I saw the fight right after the fight. I went to the hotel room. Steve Moko come by with a box of wine. We drinking, we have fun. We eat something, and after they left, the room was like 6 in the morning. I turned the TV on and it was like the fight was on. Sam Peru was fighting. I say, oh, I'll fight right after. So I stay wait, and I watch the whole fight there. And I mean, I enjoy. At that time, I was like super happy and just look at the fight and enjoy. I didn't really like watch and be critical about something, because sometimes I watch the fights, and even if I win or lose, and I'm always like looking to learn what I did bad, what I did wrong. I didn't do it when I watched this fight because it was right there. I was right after the fight. I didn't really pay attention. I was just enjoy the fight. I think it was great. It was a great fight, and I was just happy, man.
What
Gotta
kind of
watch it
wine?
again.
What kind of wine were you guys drinking? I'm curious.
I don't know. Steve Marco, man, he always surprises. He comes down like, "Hey, what's up, man?" Steve Marco, right?
Yeah, a great
Yeah, he's like,
wrestler from Oklahoma State.
yeah, of course, he's one of the baddest wrestling out there. He just come down to the room with a box of wine, and I was like, "Box of wine?" He's like, "Yeah, man, it's pretty good." So we drinking. It was pretty good, man. It was amazing. Just like I say, it's not the quality, it's the vibe. You know what I mean? We had a good vibe. We were good going. Everything was amazing, man. I gotta ask him what kind of wine it is.
Okay, I got you. You guys, you have now 31 wins. I think 26 finishes. I think, and maybe I'm even guilty of this too, but a lot of the MMA media feels like you're a grinder and you'll take it to the limit, whether it's a 3-round fight, 15 minutes, or a 5-round fight, 25 minutes. But you really are looking for those finishes. I guess we haven't studied your record enough. That's a high percentage of finishing fights. It's definitely it's like about 85% if I do some quick math. Mostly KOs, but yet again, I think everybody tabs you as more of a submission machine. But I think you have twice as many KOs. Do you just look for a specific finish depending on the opponent, or being that you're able to do both? Do you specify and try and get one or the other? Like maybe because you enjoy the knockout more, or can you tell me about your frame of mind when it comes to that?
Yeah. I'm looking for a finish all the time. I say this in every interview. I'm not a trash talker. I think the way I fight is to represent that. To go forward and trying to finish my opponents, and trying to I try it all the time. I'm always go forward. I'm always looking to finish it. It depends on the opponent. I start him a little bit, and I say, "Hey, this guy's gonna be better for submission." I take him down. I can do this, can do that. But for example, in case of Anthony Smith, I was not really looking for one thing and say, like, what, he's gonna be good in the ground. I'm gonna submit him or knock him out. Was just like working everything and going there and see what's open. Because he's all well-round fighter, and I was just looking for the open guys like that. You just gotta go with the flow and see what the fight takes you.
I also got one more question that I should have asked you in the beginning. I looked up the geography, and Danbury, Connecticut, where I believe you're at, is less than 100 miles from New York City. And New York City obviously is the epicenter in the United States for what happened with coronavirus. Did it affect you, your family, your friends, your community? Were you guys hit hard as well?
Yeah, it was pretty hard. For a small town was had a big shutdown, lockdown over here of everything. So uh, affect a little bit in training because it was hard. But I had a couple guys that I was training with all the time. Fernelli Feliz, my coach, old boxer, and his son is he's gonna be in Olympics. He's supposed to fight in Olympics 2020, and he was in Colombia training because he's fighting for the Republica Dominican. Um, and yeah, and he because the Olympic got delayed and he come back over here and he was just staying in Denver, so it was a big help, man. And him and Kyle, I wanted two guys, but we made it work. We don't have to have the experience help in this case because about training, how to train, how to push. It was a little bit difficult. It is difficult for everybody. A situation like that. But we're getting back, man. Everything's open up. People is like, when you say about family and friends, if you affect anybody, I don't know any of my friends that had the coronavirus. I think Kyle's mom in Brazil had a coronavirus, but she's already better. That was when I was getting ready for fight. She had the coronavirus in Brazil. That's the only person I know that had the coronavirus. Huh. Oh yeah, my neighbors. One of my wife is just telling here. One of my neighbors, um, her best friend's mother got the coronavirus because she's working. She's a nurse, but she's like 70. Her husband is like 75. They both got it, but they all good. They doing. They really never felt it.
That's good, man. But Glover, let me ask you a question here about the title picture. Right now, things are in limbo a little bit because John Jones has a contract dispute that needs to be hammered out. Um, when you look at things, when you get back to your title shot, do you care if it's John Jones or if it's somebody else? Some people say, you want to get that one back and have him at the top. Does it matter who's at the top when you return?
Yeah, no, because I wanted to keep fighting, man, and I wanted to fight for the title. Of course, it's my dream to become a champion, and I wanted to fight for the title. Really, I'm not, at this. I go in there and I fight for the title, and I get the title. Doesn't matter who, I'm not trying to be in the politics and thinking like, oh, this guy's retired, this guy's out, this guy. I'm out of this. Scenario there. So I'm just looking for the fight and go over there do my business.
Glover, when your name gets brought up, George and I, we've been doing our show for 13 years. And back when we started, the internet wasn't as powerful as it is today. So most of what you would hear about MMA, you would hear from guy to guy, right, in the training rooms. And your name, every time somebody brought up Chuck Liddell, they would always say, you think Chuck is good? There's this kid named Glover Teixeira. He's a monster. And we would hear your name over and over and over. One day this guy's going to fight in the UFC. You're going to see him, and he's going to be incredible. Had you gotten into the UFC a little bit earlier, how different do you think your career would have played out?
Yeah, you go back and in time is one of those things like you just gotta look forward, right? Live in the present and look forward. The past time is just experience and learning. But yeah, I knock out Sukujo in 2007, and that's when Sukujo went to Pride and beat everyone. I mean, he was beating Arona and Minotauro. And then my name is got kind of like, whoa, this guy, who beat this guy? This monster that keep knocking everybody out. And then they see my name, and some people start calling me, even UFC. But I had the problem with the visa and everything. But yeah, I don't know. It's one of those things. Like I was 28 at that time. I had to wait another 4 years, 4.5 years before I got to UFC. When I first did my debut in UFC, was 32. Um, and I still fighting, in UFC. But I don't know, man. It's hard to say. I don't want to point fingers and say, oh, I could beat that guy. I could beat this guy. At that time, I think when I left to Brazil, when I got called to fight in UFC, Forrest Griffin was a champion, and then when I left to Brazil to get the visa ready, Rampage become a champion. No, who beat? I think no, Rampage was a champion because he beat Chocolate Dale. You're right, and then Forrest Griffin beat him for the title. And I think if I was there with that mix, I think I could be doing good. I don't know, man. It's one of those things. If if it was there, I'm not looking too much to the past. Just enjoy the presence now.
Yeah, I have to go to the past as well. I remember you on the Tap Out show was one, and then I remember, I think it was called Palace Fighting. You knocked out George Oliveira in 5 seconds.
Yeah.
So when Jorge Masvidal knocked out Ben Askren in 5 seconds, I'm sure there's even quicker knockouts with all the MMA that we don't know about. But all I could think of was, wow, he tied Glover's knockout from PFC, I believe it was called. Now granted, the announcers were specifying and saying it was the fastest finish ever in the UFC, but I remembered your 5 second, the 5 second one. I think it was a really dark room. I know Chuck was in the corner, and I believe it was against Jorge Oliveira, and I think he may have been a shootbox fighter. So that's one of my first memories of you.
Yeah, I just watched the show recently. It's pretty good, man. Bring back the memory. Like I say, I look the past and I enjoy. I take some learning. I take some stuff. I'm not, but yeah, I walk into his corner. He throw a leg kick. I throw overhand right and left hook, but the overhand right will already knock him out. And that was a quick fight. It was an amazing show. That was the beginning of the story, of coming to UFC.
Yeah. Glover, just a couple more questions here. Okay, so like what Goz was saying earlier, John Jones is saying, hey, look, maybe I back away. And then in a tweet, he said, Dom and Jan can fight for the title. Do you feel like maybe your name should have been mentioned as well? Or do you understand that maybe they are the front runners? Like, how do you see you, Dom, Jan, and Thiago Santos, who we got to give him his respect? He went to a split decision with John Jones. So I feel like there's 4 good candidates there. How do you break that foursome down?
It's hard to say. It's and in my opinion, I am looking forward to fight for the title. I want to fight Jan Blachowicz because we both coming from like 4 or 5. I mean, I come from 4 wins in a row. I believe he come like 4 or 5 wins in a row, something like that. Who am I to say who's gonna fight next or this? And so is John Jones, right? He say, John and Reyes can fight for the title. As he's calling the shots now, he leave UFC and tell who's gonna fight. I don't think that way. I only think that those guys have the chance. They went in there, they fought for the title, they lost, and they got to come back and win fights to get back in there again. You don't get rematch for the title unless you're a champion. I mean, I believe if John Jones, and I will agree, if John Jones lost the title and get rematch immediately, I agree with that. But a challenger, you got to open up for the next guy. You got to win more fights to come back. That's the way I think, and that's the way I think for myself too, to help myself to get there. I think me and Blachowicz, John, we should fight. And and those guys have to fight to get win. Maybe Thiago and Reyes have to fight. See who's gonna win and who's gonna fight next. Who's gonna fight for the title next?
Tell me if this is crazy. Could you tell the 205ers, the light heavyweights, hey, hold my beer and go fight one fight at heavyweight? Just so you don't have to go through the weight cut and your 4-fight win streaks preserved. You let them settle it. Have you ever been interested in just giving heavyweight either a shot? again, you don't have to put your body through the weight cut. And I don't know. I mean, I heard John Jones said that they told him if you go to heavyweight, you make more money. I see that same card, like Arlovsky and Rothwell. They make some good money too. So have you ever thought of that?
Hey, it's over there. It's a fight makes sense, and money, man. Money changes everything, But like right now I'm in a mission, right? I am in a good winning streak. I'm in a mission. My weight is great right now. I'm like 225, and
Oh, wow.
I'm not walking around heavy anymore. I'm 225 just because I know this pandemic thing. Who knows when they're gonna call and they're gonna. I know they can't plan ahead too much, so who knows when they're gonna call and say, "Hey, you're fighting in 3 weeks," so I'll be ready, So I'm focusing at 205 right now, but hey, if it's a possibility to come to fight in the heavyweight, I'm here, man. Just give me a call.
Glover, thank you so much for the time. Congratulations on the big win you had over Anthony Smith last month. And like we were discussing, you're right there. It's going to be one of you four versus John, or if John, decides to take a step back, then obviously you're one of the ones that should be considered because you are on a 4-fight win streak. You've got a lot of big names over the course of, I think since 2012 that you've been in the UFC. So you got a lot of quality wins on your resume. So we wish you the best of luck with how everything plays out. And we look forward to your next fight either way.
Hey, man, thank you. Appreciate it. Appreciate the call. I'm sorry I delayed a little bit for you guys there.
No worries. It was great catching up with you. Enjoy your day, and we'll talk to you soon.